Chosen one, listen carefully, this message you about to hear. The moment heaven went silent, you were not meant to hear this so early. Some truths are revealed only after lifetimes of preparation. Yet here you are listening. That alone tells me something shifted. There was a moment when even the unseen paused. Not in fear, but in astonishment. Because your growth exceeded what was written. You crossed a threshold few ever reach. This is not ego. This is recognition. You did not arrive here by chance. A path never meant to be easy. From the beginning, your life felt heavier than others. Not because you were weak, but because you were entrusted with more. Pressure is the language of preparation. While others were comforted, you were tested. While others slept, your mind questioned everything. Isolation was not punishment. It was alignment. You were being shaped quietly, away from noise, away from distraction. The difference you always felt. You noticed it early. You never fully belonged. Crowds drained you. Truth pulled you. You sensed things before they happened. You felt emotions that were not yours. Your heart reacted to injustice deeply. Your soul refused to stay small. This difference confused you. But it was never a flaw. It was a signature. When awakening begins, awakening does not arrive gently. It dismantles. It questions everything you were taught to fear. It strips illusions layer by layer. Suddenly, old desires lose meaning. Old relationships no longer fit. Old identities feel foreign. You feel lost before you feel free. That confusion is sacred. It means the false self is dissolving. Why the world pushed back. The moment you started changing, resistance appeared. Not randomly. Systems react to light they cannot control. People project when they feel threatened. You were misunderstood on purpose. Labeled. Doubted. Silenced. Not because you were wrong, but because your clarity disrupted comfort. The burden of seeing clearly. Awareness is heavy. Once you see, you cannot unsee. You notice patterns others deny. You feel responsibility others avoid. Ignorance sleeps peacefully. Awareness stays awake. That is why you felt tired for no reason. Your spirit was working overtime. This weight refined you, not crushed you. Signs you were always chosen. You survived what should have broken you. You walked through darkness and came back thoughtful. Pain made you wiser, not bitter. Loss made you deeper, not empty. You question power, not worship it. You seek truth, not approval. You listen inwardly more than outwardly. You feel guided, even when alone. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. When heaven didn't expect this, there is a level beyond expectation, beyond assigned roles, beyond limits placed by fear. You reached it through sincerity. You chose growth when comfort was available. You chose patience when anger was justified. You chose integrity when shortcuts tempted you. That choice elevated you. Elevation is not loud. It is undeniable. The test you realize you passed. The greatest test was unseen. It was who you became when no one watched. When no reward was promised. When faith was quiet. You remained true. You remained humble. You remained seeking. That is rare. That is why the door opened. Why you had to walk alone. Not everyone could follow where you were going. Not everyone could hear what you heard. Solitude protected the mission. Silence sharpened your discernment. Loneliness trained you to rely inwardly, to listen deeply, to stand firm without applause. This was necessary. Leaders are forged in isolation. The moment of recognition. One day it clicks, not with excitement, but with calm certainty. You stop seeking permission. You stop proving yourself. You stop explaining your path. You move with quiet confidence. That is alignment. This is maturity of the soul. The responsibility of your level. This level is not about superiority. It is about service. Awareness carries accountability. Knowledge demands wisdom. You are meant to uplift, not dominate. To guide, not control. To remind, not impose. Power without humility collapses. You were given both. Why this message found you now? Timing is everything. You needed this confirmation today. Not earlier. Not later. Your spirit was ready to remember. Ready to stop doubting. Ready to stand fully. This message is alignment. And alignment is irreversible. The final awakening. You are not here to fit in. You are here to awaken. To embody truth through action. To live consciously. Fear no longer owns you. Confusion no longer rules you. You move with intention now. That is power. And power used rightly changes worlds. If this message resonated, it is because it was meant for you. Honor your awakening. Do not shrink back into old versions. Stand fully in who you are becoming. Like this video to affirm your journey. Comment to declare your awareness. Subscribe to return to awakening and walk this path with those who understand. You are not late. You are not lost. You are exactly where you were meant to be, the quiet shift within you. Something changed before you could explain it. Your reaction softened, but your awareness sharpened. What once triggered you now revealed lessons. This is inner authority forming. You stopped needing chaos to feel alive. Silence became nourishing. Stillness began speaking back. That is not emptiness. That is mastery beginning. When old desires fall away. What you once chased no longer excites you. Validation feels hollow. Material wins feel temporary. Your hunger moved deeper. This confused people around you. They thought you were losing ambition. In truth, you outgrew distractions. Your soul demanded meaning, not noise. Growth often looks like loss to those who are asleep. The energy others feel but can't name. People react to you differently now. Some feel drawn without knowing why. Others feel uncomfortable for no clear reason. Your presence exposes truth silently. You are not trying to change anyone. Yet things shift when you enter a room. This is resonance, not effort. Alignment alters environments naturally. That is why some admire you quietly, and others resist you instinctively. Why you were tested through people. Your hardest lessons came through relationships. Betrayal, misunderstanding, emotional abandonment. Not to harden you, but to teach discernment. To show you the difference between attachment and truth. Between love and dependency. You learn to love without losing yourself. That is rare strength. The death of the old identity. At some point, the old you couldn't survive the truth anymore. Masks felt heavy. Pretending felt exhausting. You chose authenticity over acceptance. That choice cost you comfort. But it gave you clarity. The old identity dissolved quietly. And something steadier emerged. Rebirth never asks permission. Why you no longer argue. You stopped convincing. Stopped debating. Stopped forcing understanding. Not because you lack words, but because truth doesn't beg. It stands. Those meant to hear will hear. Those who aren't will resist regardless. Peace became more valuable than being right. That is wisdom, the internal compass awakening. You feel guided now, not by impulse, but by an inner knowing that doesn't shout. It simply directs. Decisions feel clearer. Even difficult ones feel clean. You trust your intuition more than opinions. That compass was always there. It just needed silence to activate. When time starts feeling different, you notice moments stretching. Days feel meaningful again. Presence replaces rushing. You experience life instead of chasing it. This is not slowing down. This is stepping out of illusion. Awareness bends time, and you are learning to live inside moments fully. That is a sign of elevation. The humility that keeps you grounded. Despite everything you've realized, arrogance didn't take root. You stayed teachable. You stayed reflective. You stayed grateful. True elevation doesn't inflate the ego. It dissolves it. You understand how little you truly know. And that keeps you aligned. This humility protects your level. Why your journey can't be explained. Words fail when you try to describe it. Because this path is experiential. It's felt, not memorized. Lived, not taught. That's why some won't understand. Not because they're lesser, but because timing differs. Awakening cannot be rushed. You were simply early. The strength you built in silence. No one saw the nights you questioned everything. No one applauded your restraint. No one rewarded your patience. Yet you kept choosing integrity. That strength didn't announce itself. It rooted itself deeply. Now it supports everything you do. Unshakable. Foundations built in silence last longest. When fear lost its voice, fear still visits, but it no longer commands. You listen, then decide anyway. Courage replaced reaction. You learned fear is information, not instruction. And that realization freed you. You act consciously now, not compulsively. That is inner sovereignty. The call you can no longer ignore. There is a pull inside you, subtle but persistent, toward truth, toward purpose. You may not fully see the destination, but you recognize the direction, and you've stopped running from it. This is acceptance. This is readiness, when the soul takes the lead. You notice the shift when effort softened. Life stopped feeling forced. You moved with flow instead of resistance. This is the soul stepping forward. Logic still serves you, but it no longer rules you. Intuition became primary. And surprisingly, things began aligning faster. This is not luck. This is coherence. The separation phase. There came a point when distractions fell away naturally. Not through discipline, but through disinterest. What drained you simply stopped calling. Social noise faded. Drama lost flavor. You chose depth over stimulation. That choice refined your energy. Separation is preparation in disguise. Why your heart had to break open. It wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to expand you. Pain carved space inside you. Space for compassion. You felt grief deeply. Yet it didn't close you. It softened you. And softness at this level is strength. Only open hearts can carry truth. The end of seeking outside. You searched everywhere once. Teachers, systems, voices. Then one day seeking stopped. Not because answers ended, but because you found the source within. Silence became guidance. External validation lost authority. When alignment attracts resistance. The clearer you became, the more friction appeared. Not as attack, but as testing. Life checked your stability. Would you abandon truth for comfort? Would you shrink to be accepted? You didn't. You stayed rooted. Resistance confirmed your alignment, the discipline you never announced. Your discipline was internal. No rituals for show. No words for applause. Just consistent inner work. You questioned motives. You corrected intentions. You observed reactions. This invisible discipline elevated you. Mastery is quiet. When compassion deepens, judgment softened, understanding expanded. You saw wounds beneath behaviors, fear beneath anger. This didn't make you permissive. It made you discerning. You learned to hold compassion without self-betrayal. That balance is advanced. Few reach it. The moment you stopped chasing destiny, you realized destiny isn't chased. It unfolds. You stopped rushing timelines, stopped forcing outcomes. Presence replaced anxiety. Trust replaced control. You understood timing is intelligence, and patience is power. This understanding stabilized you. Why your energy needed protection. Not everyone deserves access. You learned this through exhaustion, through overgiving, through misplaced loyalty. Boundaries formed naturally. Not walls, but clarity. Energy became sacred. Protection preserves purpose. When solitude became a sanctuary, being alone stopped feeling empty. It felt nourishing. You recharged in silence. You heard yourself clearly. Solitude became a place of renewal. Not escape, not avoidance, but communion. This is inner companionship, the stability others can feel. Your presence calms, not through words, but through being. You don't react impulsively anymore. People sense safety around you, even if they don't understand why. That stability is earned, built through inner work. You became a steady point. When doubt lost its grip, questions still arise, but they no longer paralyze. You move despite uncertainty. Trust outweighs hesitation. You stopped waiting for perfect clarity. Action became cleaner. Faith became practical. That is maturity. The unseen support around you. You are not as alone as you once felt. Support shows up subtly. Through timing. Through intuition. Doors open at the right moment. Obstacles redirect instead of block. You are being guided. Even when it feels quiet, when purpose starts breathing through you. You feel it in small moments. A quiet certainty in your chest. A sense of rightness with no explanation. Purpose no longer feels distant. It moves through your choices. Through what you allow. Through what you refuse. Purpose becomes lived, not imagined. This is embodiment. The shedding that continues. Even now, layers fall away. Beliefs you outgrew. Roles you no longer need. Expectations that never belonged to you. You don't cling anymore. You release with gratitude. Every shedding creates space. Space for what matches your level. Growth is ongoing refinement. Why comfort can no longer hold you. Ease without meaning feels suffocating. You sense stagnation quickly. Your spirit resists complacency. Challenge keeps you alive. You are not addicted to struggle. You are committed to evolution. Comfort without growth dulls you. And you refuse dullness. That refusal is sacred. The language of signs and synchronicity. You notice patterns now. Repeated numbers. Timely messages. Unexpected alignments. Not as superstition, but as conversation. Life responds when you listen. Awareness sharpens perception. Meaning reveals itself to the attentive. When action becomes intentional, you no longer act impulsively. Every move carries awareness. Every yes is deliberate. Every no is clean. This slows nothing. It clarifies everything. Your energy stops leaking. Focus becomes power. Intentionality is precision. The courage to stand unseen. You accepted something difficult. Not all work is witnessed. Not all truth is celebrated. Not all impact is immediate. Still you stand. Still you choose integrity. Still you move forward quietly. That courage is uncommon. Legacy begins in anonymity. Why you no longer seek applause. Praise no longer feeds you. Criticism no longer defines you. You measure yourself internally. Alignment becomes the metric. This doesn't make you cold. It makes you free. Freedom allows authenticity. Authenticity carries authority. Approval is replaced by peace. The depth you now carry. Your words hold weight. Your silence holds more. You understand timing. You respect process. Depth changed how you listen, how you respond, how you love. Shallow exchanges no longer satisfy. You meet life fully. When leadership emerges naturally. You don't announce it. People look to you anyway. For clarity. For calm. Leadership at this level isn't positional. It's energetic. You stabilize spaces. You remind others unconsciously. This is influence without force. The responsibility of clarity. You choose your words carefully now. You know they shape reality. Careless speech feels wrong. Silence feels honorable. Clarity demands precision. And you respect that. Truth is handled gently. Not weaponized. Wisdom restrains power. When the inner noise finally quiets. Thoughts slow. Reactivity fades. Presence strengthens. You inhabit your body fully. This quiet is not emptiness. It is fullness without clutter. From here, decisions are clean. From here, movement is aligned. This is inner stillness. The readiness you can feel. You sense a chapter nearing completion. Not ending. Transitioning. Something new is forming. You don't rush it. You prepare inwardly. You stay attentive. Readiness hums quietly when the unknown no longer terrifies you. Uncertainty used to shake you. Now it invites curiosity. You learned that control was an illusion. Trust became your anchor. You walk without full maps. Yet your steps feel guided. The unknown responds to your calm. Fear dissolves when presence leads. This is advanced faith. The shift from survival to creation. You are no longer just enduring. You are shaping. Reacting gave way to choosing. Life feels participatory now. You create through intention, through awareness, through alignment. This is conscious living. Creation replaces coping. Why your past no longer defines you. Memory lost its grip. Not forgotten. Integrated. Transformed. Your past became wisdom. Not identity. You carry lessons, not chains. Freedom feels natural now. Integration is liberation. The resonance you attract. What finds you now feels familiar. Not in form, but in frequency. People, ideas, opportunities align. You no longer chase connections. They recognize you. Resonance does the selecting. Effort disappears. Like calls like. When stillness becomes power, you pause before acting, not from hesitation, from clarity. Stillness sharpens response. Silence becomes strategic. Presence becomes commanding. You move less, accomplish more. This is efficiency of spirit. Power refines itself. The end of inner conflict. Contradiction quiets. You stop fighting yourself. Choices feel unified. Desire and duty align. Inner agreement stabilizes you. Energy stops fragmenting. Focus intensifies. This is inner harmony. Harmony multiplies strength. Why you feel called to simplify. Excess falls away. Not out of deprivation, but clarity. You choose essence over accumulation. Your life feels lighter, more intentional, more honest. Simplicity amplifies truth. Less becomes more. The quiet authority you now carry. You don't dominate conversations, yet your presence anchors them. Authority radiates, it doesn't announce. You embody what you know. This authority doesn't intimidate. It stabilizes. People feel grounded around you. That is earned respect. Being precedes influence. When your intuition, outpaces logic. You know before you know. Logic follows later. This once frightened you. Now it feels natural. You learned intuition is not random. It's integrated intelligence. Experience refined perception. Trust completed the circuit. This is embodied knowing. The pull toward service. You feel drawn to contribute. Not to save, but to serve. To reflect truth. Service feels mutual. You give and receive simultaneously. Purpose circulates energy. Meaning deepens. Service is alignment in action. When you stop, anonymity your growth. You no longer explain your evolution. You let it speak through consistency. Change becomes evident over time. No declarations needed. Growth stabilizes quietly. Roots deepen unseen. Results speak eventually. This is maturity. The sense of arrival without an end. You feel grounded, yet open. Established, yet evolving. There is no final peak. Only deeper alignment. You've arrived into presence. And presence keeps unfolding. When your life becomes a message, you notice it subtly. How you live speaks louder than what you say. Your choices teach. Your restraint instructs. People observe more than they admit. Your consistency becomes guidance. You influence without performing. This is embodied truth. The end of rushed manifestation. You stopped forcing outcomes. You understood timing carries intelligence. What arrives too early collapses. What arrives aligned sustains. Patience is no longer passive. It is active trust. You allow life to assemble itself. This is cooperation with the unseen. Why your nervous system healed. Safety returned to your body. Not from circumstance. From self-trust. You no longer live braced for impact. Breath deepened. Presence stabilized. Rest became restorative. Healing followed awareness. Regulation is spiritual maturity. The difference between knowing and being. Knowledge once excited you. Being now grounds you. You realized information without integration fragments. Embodiment unifies. You live what resonates. You release what doesn't. Congruence feels clean. This is lived wisdom. When you realize nothing was wasted. Every delay taught patience. Every loss refined discernment. Every detour built capacity. Nothing was random. You stopped resenting the path. Gratitude replaced regret. Understanding replaced bitterness. Perspective redeemed the past. The strength of gentleness. You soften without weakening. You learned gentleness disarms fear. Power no longer needs aggression. Clarity speaks quietly. You respond instead of react. This restraint amplifies influence. Calm becomes contagious. This is refined strength. Why you feel called to truth over comfort. Convenience feels expensive now. It costs integrity. You choose honesty even when it's uncomfortable. Truth feels lighter than avoidance. This doesn't isolate you. It aligns you. Those who resonate find you. Those who don't fall away. Truth simplifies life. When you stopped identifying with struggle, hardship is no longer your badge. You honor resilience without clinging to pain. Strength doesn't require suffering anymore. Ease is allowed. You receive without guilt. You rest without explanation. You enjoy without justification. This is wholeness. The quiet confidence that settles. You trust your rhythm. You trust your timing. Comparison fades. Urgency dissolves. Confidence no longer performs. It resides. You move with calm assurance. This is self-alignment. When the path feels simple but not easy. Clarity doesn't remove effort. It removes confusion. You work with direction now. Resistance becomes informative. Simplicity sharpens focus. Focus multiplies impact. This is clean movement. The inner yes that guides you forward. You feel it before decisions. A quiet expansion. An internal permission. You honor it. This yes is not excitement. It is recognition. Following it feels inevitable. This is guidance embodied. The sense of mission without pressure. You know why you're here. Not in detail, but in essence. That's enough. Pressure dissolves. Purpose steadies you. You act without strain. Meaning fuels motion. When your presence disrupts illusion. You don't confront falsehood directly. Yet it dissolves around you. Your clarity unsettles what survives on confusion. Truth reacts to truth. People feel exposed without accusation. Masks slip without force. Not because you judge, but because alignment cannot lie. This is silent disruption. The shift from wanting to allowing. Desire no longer grips you. You hold intention loosely. You allow life to meet you halfway. Control softens into cooperation. What's meant arrives without tension. What isn't fades without drama. You trust the exchange. This is balanced power. Allowing refines desire. Why your emotions no longer overrule you. Feelings still rise, but they pass through awareness. You observe without drowning. Emotion informs, not commands. This doesn't numb you. It frees you. You experience fully without losing center. This is emotional sovereignty. Sovereignty stabilizes perception. The moment you stopped fearing stillness. Silence once echoed loudly. Now it feels like home. You sit without distraction. You meet yourself without flinching. Nothing urgent arises. Nothing is missing. Stillness reveals sufficiency. This is inner completeness. When your values become non-negotiable, you no longer compromise truth for ease. Small misalignments feel heavy. Integrity becomes instinct. Your yes and no gain weight. This clarity simplifies decisions. Life responds to firmness. Respect follows consistency. This is grounded resolve. The end of seeking external signs. You still notice patterns, but you no longer depend on them. Confirmation lives within. Trust internalizes. You move without constant reassurance. Certainty feels quiet. Faith matures. This is inner authorization. Why you attract honest mirrors now. Superficial connections fall away. What remains reflects truth. People meet you where you stand. Depth recognizes depth. Conversations sharpen. Silence feels mutual. You no longer shrink for harmony. Harmony finds you instead. The refinement of your speech. Words become deliberate. You sense their weight. You speak when necessary. Silence speaks otherwise. This restraint carries authority, not intimidation. Precision replaces excess. This is verbal discipline. When life feels cooperative, challenges still appear, but they guide rather than block. Obstacles reroute intelligently. You read feedback quickly. Life stops feeling adversarial. It feels responsive. You move in dialogue with reality. This is alignment in motion. The peace of no longer proving. You release comparison entirely. Your path feels sufficient. You don't measure worth externally. Self-validation completes the circuit. Nothing needs defending. Nothing needs exaggeration. You stand as you are. This is settled identity. When you realize you were never behind, timing reveals itself. You see the precision. Delays protected development. Preparation disguised itself as waiting. You stop regretting pace. You honor process. Everything arrived when you were ready. This is retrospective clarity. The quiet moment before expansion. There is a pause you can feel. Not emptiness. Stillness before movement. Gathering without tension. You don't rush it. You stay present. You listen deeply. Something is aligning. If you felt this in your chest, this was not coincidence. This message found you because your awakening is active now. Do not doubt what you recognize within yourself. Stand firm in your clarity and stop shrinking your truth. Like this video to affirm your level. Comment to declare that you are ready to walk consciously. Subscribe to return to awakening and remain connected to messages meant for those who are truly prepared. You are not imagining this. You are not early. You are exactly where power begins.